What's up, people? So, I was looking through some of my old photos because I started mentoring some people, and just seeing their progression and how they take their photography to the next level has been pretty inspiring. So I looked through some of my old photos, and I'm like, I should go through some of my old photos and explain my thought process, the lighting, the concepts, shit like that. Only because lately I've been feeling kind of down, so I I was like, man, I feel like I hit a wall in my creativity. And so I'm like, I looked through my photos and I was like, oh man, like I've really progressed, like really gotten better over the years as a photographer. So this is definitely it was definitely an eye opener, and I'm like, I'm sure the people who follow me would like to see how I started. A lot of my mentees are kind of like, oh, I don't feel like I'm good enough. And I'm like, hey, listen, my shit wasn't even popping back then. Like I barely knew what some of the stuff was like. But let's go through it. Let's chat it up, and you'll see what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? First off, we're starting with this photo. This is Mike. Mike and I go back when I was like about 18, 19. I was dating my ex-girlfriend, and she introduced me to Mike. And Mike was he was a dancer. He danced and stuff like that. So he wanted some photos, and I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, let me get that to you. And yeah, so I took some photos of him, and this is one of the ones I really liked. And yeah, let's go through it. So clearly you can see the focus is off. The focus is off. I had no idea about focusing. I think I was using a kit lens during this period of time. Let's see. No lens information. It's not giving me any lens information. But I was shooting an iOS 400 f5. Most likely it was my kit lens. I think it was definitely the kit lens that I was using for f5. But even with the kit lens, you can see that like the focus is on the hand, like the arm in front of us holding the drink, and not on the eyes. And that kind of bothers me. That would bother me now if I did that. It's kind of funky. The concept behind this was just kind of like alleyway, street type of photo shoot, and we just wanted to get real grungy with the image, and I like it. We just hung out that day. Like I said, me and Mike were friends, and we did talk, so we hung out, took some pictures. It was cool. It was really cool with that photo shoot. Mike was actually one of the first models that I worked with professionally, because he did do some photo shoots. I think he told me that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think he did do some photo shoots in the past. Mike was amongst some of the first 5 people I started taking photos of, and consistently doing it. So yeah, shout out to Mike. It's funny because one of my mentees knows Mike. So when she came and me and her were talking, and I was explaining to her all my stuff and showed her some of my old work, she's like, oh my God, I know Mike, like from way back, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that name in so long. So also it's kind of like me looking back at this photo is what, yeah, spirit this whole thing. All right. Yeah, let's get on to the next photo. Okay, let's get on to the next photo. This photo right here, this is when I started getting into the whole boudoir, sexy type of photo shoots, right? Wasn't really my thing till I started working at a studio taking photos, and the studio owner, he he was also like a person that took pictures like boudoir stuff, and so was everybody else that was in there, right? So this is like the first studio stuff that I was doing and whatnot. Yeah, it was pretty cool. This model right here, her name is Misty. Man, it's funny because Misty, when I first started taking photos, I used to see her photos like alongside like certain people, like certain industry people, and Misty was one of those girls. And I didn't even know she lived in Toronto. So when I came to do the photo shoot that day with this photo, I was kind of like, oh my God, this girl lives in Toronto. I've been following this girl on like, I think it was either Facebook or MySpace for years, you know, like, and I'm like, damn, like my first time here, I gotta get a freaking photo of her. So I asked her, first I chat her up and I was like, yo, you know, I'd love to take pictures of you and whatever. And she's like, yeah, because she was just in the studio hanging out with some of the guys there. And I was like, yeah, let me take some photos. I was, you know, I have my gear and everything. So yeah, in this photo, like, I don't like the hot spot behind her head, where the light, you can see that the light's hitting. I don't know if there's a light behind her that's doing that or whatever, but not really the pose is also kind of janky. It's kind of janky. Shoot, I used to put my freaking tag in the corner up there on the photo, on the top right, top left. It depends how you see it. I don't know. You'll see it. And yeah, my retouching skills weren't up to par. Funny enough, I was a graphic designer, and in my end years of graphic designing, I was learning how to retouch photos, and that's how I also kind of got into the whole like photography aspect of things, right? Yeah, it's funny, and even more funnier, I've recently just started gaining the love for graphic design again, and I'm enjoying it. I released some prints on my website and also some iPhone wallpapers as well, doing like certain styles of graphic work to each image. So I repurposed a lot of my images, and basically I'm now using them as like graphic work, wallpapers, prints, all that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool. That's really what I want to do early on in my career as a photographer, like just to take pictures and turn them into graphic work. But I was kind of fell in love more with photography and just became a photographer instead of doing the whole graphic design work stuff. It wasn't really, yeah. But this photo is like, it takes me back, man. It really does take me back. It really does take me back. I haven't heard or seen her in years, but I hope she's good. Shout out to you, Misty. Yeah. Okay, third image. Oh man, this was my first attempt at like doing product photography-ish, because I was, or how do I even explain this type of photo? This is a conceptual idea where I linked up with a makeup artist. Her name is Lilo. I years, long time ago. Oh my god. And she lived like a couple of lights down the road from me. So we started working, and we came up with this idea of doing lipsticks, on and like the lip gloss. As you can see, I wasn't very a detailed retoucher. Like, if you look at the image, there's a lot of like flaws on the image, like some imperfections that I could have cleaned up a little bit. The lipstick I could have cleaned up a little bit, you know, fix it up a bit. Like you can see there where the teeth and the lips touch, that I could have done more to that. Even down to the gloss rod, the lipstick rod, could have fixed that and cleaned that up too. But I wasn't a very detailed orientated retoucher at the time, and I didn't have a tablet. I was using a mouse to retouch at this point. So yeah, these were janky edits. I think I was using like very cheap lights as well too. I had some lights that I bought from like eBay. They come in a pack and they come with a bag. It's like I think 3 lights or 2 lights in a bag and some shit like that. It was and reflectors and some barn doors and very cheap lighting. Like these lightings would like burst after a while. Like I think one caught on fire during an event that I was doing. It was so funny. I smelled smoke coming and people were like, your light's on fire, and I'm like, oh my god, how embarrassing. Oh man, I remember that event. That was funny. But yeah, this shoot was fun though. It's still good. It's a good shot. Just like I just wish they obviously like there's some things that could have been fixed. Like maybe you can see that the focus is on the nose and not the lips. That's why the lips are kind of like a little bit blurred out. But I wasn't very good at focusing at that time. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of learning to do. I was just having fun with the camera, and that having fun with the camera is what led me to be better. You know, trying new things, practicing, just go. That's what I was on. I kind of treated it like I was doing graphic design, just keep on doing until I got better, and that's how I treated photography. But yeah, this shot's still cool though, still cool, very cool idea. Just the editing needed a little bit of work, and the focus, and yeah, the lighting's not too bad, even for some cheap ass eBay lights. Here is my first attempt. This photo right here is my first attempt at some cosplay pictures. And if you're not a comic book fan, you won't know who she's trying to cosplay as. But if you're an old, late 1990s, early 2000 kid, you'll know who this girl is playing. She is playing the character of Jubilee. And I don't know if you guys remember, Jubilee was one of the X-Men characters. She was part of the main roster of that era of X-Men. And yeah, she the yellow coat, the purple top, the black bottoms. Yeah, so it was a pretty cool image. I added some special effects. Like I said, I trying to add a little bit of the graphic design element of things that I was doing. Yeah. And what can I say about this photo? This shot was actually taken at the studio that I was working at in like the basement level. It was like an industrial building that was partially abandoned. There was like maybe a couple of people in the building. But there was tons of units, but nobody was around really in the building, right? So we had free reign to go wherever we wanted, and shoot wherever we wanted. It was fun. That studio was so lit. It was so lit. But yeah, I think the model's name is actually down here. It says Linda. Yeah, Linda. And the makeup artist was Lilo. Yeah, Lilo was the makeup artist. Yeah, I got to connect with a wardrobe stylist to bring the clothes. Yeah, this was a cool idea because I'm a nerd. If you don't know, I'm a nerd. I'm an anime, comic book nerd, science nerd. Like, shoot, I'm all the types of nerds. I'm the nerdiest. Anyways. Moving on from that, this was my first like soft glam kind of photo shoot, concept wise. And what I did for this photo was, I think I had two or three lights. I think one light was definitely on the side of her face, and the other one was on the opposite side, and then I had a light in front of her. And yeah, this is one of those shots that I took at the very beginning of my career. I started working more and more with girls who are more professional in the modeling. I remember this model's name. Her name is Yasmin. she's giving me headaches, bro. Headaches. Like, she was a headache, but man, did she bring the fire. She brought the fire in photos. Yeah, this photo was edited pretty good-ish. Like, the skin is very soft, too, a little bit too soft, but not bad. Like, compared to what I do now, it's not really all that much different. I might have done a little bit more work to the background, but I don't know, maybe at the time I wanted like a more of a vignette kind of look. As you can see, it's kind of vignette-y. It was a good shoot. I like the whole look. We're trying to go for a very like African, inspired type of look. I think that's where my head was at, because there's a previous photo from this that I put an African continent on her back, and it was pretty dope. The shoot was very good. I liked it. I actually still like it. It's really cool. I might redo a look like this, bro. Just to see, like, it looked kind of cool. I ain't even gonna front with you. Like, it looks kind of cool. Yeah, it was a good shoot. But yeah, I just wanted to show some of those old photos just to show you like you do this long enough and you will get better. It doesn't happen overnight, I think through all those photos are a span of like maybe 2-3 years, and you can see the progression. Each one are in order. Like, all those photos are in order. So like, you see the progression from my first to the last one I showed you. And it just honestly takes time to get to that certain level where you feel comfortable with yourself, you feel comfortable with what you've done. And I was still posting these images even though they weren't the greatest. I think with the Misty photo shoot, that era of photos, my images were very dark, gritty. I remember, like, I wasn't very good at taking criticism. Like, I'm still not good, but like, I will still take the criticism and apply it. Like, I won't take it right away. I'll fight back, but eventually down the road, I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn in everything I do, in my work, everything I do. I'm stubborn to the core. I have to learn for myself. There was this photographer / videographer, and he was like, yo, your photos are very dark, and they just seem so, like, not dark in like terms of like at mood, but dark in terms of lighting, and it's just, was it like everything was just black, I don't know. I was a very emo kid. So shoot. maybe I was trying to show something, I guess, right? I like the dark, gritty stuff. Yeah, it was very cool to see some of those old photos, some of the old clients that I work with, and hopefully some of my mentees see this video and really understand that, like, it is not a sprint. It is a marathon, and you gotta take your time, and you'll get to where you want to be eventually, and how you want your images to be perceived. But you have to shoot and continuously shoot in order to get better. Understanding your camera, understanding lighting, understanding composition will help you tons. But also having fun with it as well, like, and learning and not panicking and all that kind of stuff. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, just doing, like, a lot of this stuff was actually the only one from these photos that was actually, I don't think any of these, no, not a single one of these were paid work. Yeah, none of these were paid. None of these were paid work. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was doing paid work at the time, but none of these were paid work. These were just generally stuff that I was doing for myself and practicing, stuff that I wanted to do and create. And that's the thing. You need to do your own projects to get a sense of where you're at, and enjoying photography. If you're just taking paid work, you're not necessarily practicing. I used to be in bed fiddling around with my camera, taking pictures of the lights and all this kind of stuff. I was watching YouTube videos like crazy, like I not even just to learn, just to enjoy, see what they created. I had magazines just looking at the lighting styles. I'm like, yo, I want to have that same lighting style. Just learning and enjoying the process. I think that's important, and it's very hard. I don't blame people. It's very hard to do that in this day and age of social media, especially the landscape, what's going on right now with Instagram and AI taking over. But like, find the time to have fun with your own personal projects. Yeah, I think that's the moral of this whole video. Find the time to do your own projects, right? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And yeah, just wanted to share this little thing with you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. You know what I mean? If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Anyways, see you guys in the next one.